Why do you think people love Caitlin Clark besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point.
Okay.
Steph Curry, a little kid. Like, Steph Curry, I love, you know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before.
Shaq just shattered the WNBA's comfort zone, calling out Angel Reese on her own podcast and sparking a firestorm.
This is such a heated debate.
Now people don't even watch the game.
Because I don't want to use the B word. It's like you're watching like a high school game.
When Shaq suggested lowering the rims to bring some action to the WNBA, Angel couldn't handle it, calling his idea disrespectful.
People always disrespect women regardless. They're always going to not give us the same value as a man. So I just don't even think that.
And that's why you got to do what you've been doing.
But Shaq didn't stop there. Right to Reese's face, he dropped a truth bomb comparing WNBA games to high school ball. And then he took it up a notch, turning the spotlight onto Caitlin Clark.
Unless it's certain people playing, it's like you're watching like a high school game. Our game is different because we do all the stuff.
Praising her as a once-in-a-generation talent, a shooter on par with Steph Curry, and calling her the truth. Reese looked like she'd been hit, realizing she wasn't the star Shaq was gushing over. In this showdown of talent versus entitlement, Shaq just made it clear.
I totally agree with Shaq here because Steph Curry changed the game, and Steph Curry had a crazy influence on basketball from youth basketball all the way to the NBA.
I've never seen that before. I've seen it a little bit. He's doing stuff that people never seen before. She's doing stuff we've never seen before.
Caitlin Clark's rewriting the game while her rivals, like Reese, are left scrambling to keep up. Let's dive into what really went down on Angel Reese's podcast, where Shaq lit up the WNBA's biggest critics and laid out his vision for the league.
Caitlin Clark has been the best thing, the most dominant thing to happen to the WNBA ever.
Shaq, an NBA legend with a history of marketing brilliance, didn't hold back when he suggested the WNBA needed to change. His solution? Lower the rims, just enough to bring in some high-flying, dunk-filled action.
Shaq actually kicks this off by praising Caitlin Clark and saying that her game is something that he hasn't seen, and that kind of parlays into him talking about.
He argued that it would pull in viewers who want to see intensity, just like in the men's game. But Angel Reese was quick to reject the idea, calling it an insult to women's sports. Shaq fired back, saying, "It's not about disrespect, it's about making the game watchable."
It is scientifically proven that women do not have as much natural athleticism, strength, quickness as the men do, and that is okay.
And then he dropped a line that shook women's basketball. Shaq openly compared WNBA games to high school play. For a league striving for respect and viewership, this comment hit like a sledgehammer.
Basically saying Caitlin Clark is not responsible for all of this and we shouldn't pretend like she is. But she keeps neglecting to realize that the reason the league is up as a whole are because Caitlin Clark entered the league.
This is the stupidest thing I have seen.
But Shaq wasn't backing down. He knew that without some serious changes, the WNBA might continue to struggle in drawing big audiences. Shaq's words exposed what many have been thinking, but not saying.
When you watch Caitlin Clark play, you're seeing somebody different. You're seeing somebody like Steph Curry.
There's a missing spark, and without it, the league will stay in the shadow of the NBA. Then came the real twist. Shaq didn't just criticize. He highlighted exactly what a true game changer looked like by talking about Caitlin Clark. Right there, in front of Reese, Shaq started to rave about Clark's incredible skill, comparing her three-point range to Steph Curry's, and calling her the best female player he'd ever seen. Reese sat there, visibly tense, as Shaq made it clear that Clark's talent and groundbreaking stats are raising the bar for everyone. It was a clear statement.
I think Caitlin Clark is doing the right thing, rising above all of the crap that she's had to endure. The amount of fouls committed on Caitlin Clark higher than any other player, flagrant fouls committed on Caitlin Clark higher than any other player. Caitlin Clark was worried about playing the game, and that is why she got Rookie of the Year. She was not worried about the BS.
Caitlin Clark is redefining the game, and players like Reese and Wilson might not be ready for her level of excellence.
There is nobody interesting in the WNBA past or present except for Caitlin Clark. They've all shown themselves to be sexist, racist, petty, ridiculous.
Shaq didn't stop with just praise for Clark's skills. He made a point that left Reese visibly uncomfortable. He talked about how Clark's game, her long-range threes, her precision, her ability to energize the crowd was what the WNBA desperately needed to bring in fans.
The ratings were phenomenal because of Caitlin Clark. She didn't want to take credit for all of those ratings, but we all realize that Caitlin Clark single-handedly is responsible for the WNBA mattering.
Shaq described Clark as the truth, a player whose impact on the court is unmatched, forcing defenses to change their entire strategy just to keep up, and he didn't sugarcoat it. Players like Angel Reese weren't living up to that hype, and he hinted that without a shift in the WNBA, stars like Clark would continue to outshine everyone else.
That idiot Angel Reese is trying so hard to latch on to Caitlin Clark by being the heel and then crying about it. You all did this. You all called her a white bitch constantly. You all did this.
In a league that's struggling for recognition, Shaq made it clear that only players like Caitlin Clark have the power to take women's basketball to new heights, while others risk being left in the dust.
We've never seen anything like Caitlin Clark. We've never seen the deep threes. We've never seen the behind the back. We've never seen the no look.
After setting the stage with his rim-lowering idea, Shaq delved deeper into what he believes is holding the WNBA back, a lack of explosive, game-changing moments that draw in viewers and fans.
A lot of players got the spotlight this season because of Caitlin Clark. Not to mention just overall, Caitlin Clark brought millions, literally, more eyeballs to the league this season.
According to Shaq, people tune in for the thrill of sports. High-flying dunks, buzzer beaters, and players pushing the limits of their abilities. He pointed out that in men's basketball, players have the freedom to showcase their athleticism in ways that captivate the audience.
It is scientifically proven that women do not have as much natural athleticism, strength, quickness as the men do, and that is okay.
By lowering the rims, he argued, the WNBA could bring in similar energy and make games more dynamic, with dunks and displays of skill that would make fans stop scrolling and start watching.
Caitlin Clark has created more buzz around the basketball landscape and has actually transformed and revived a league that was the WNBA.
This wasn't just criticism for the sake of it. Shaq knows what excites an audience, and he believes this change would be a game changer for the WNBA.